Time is 7:01. I'll call the Common Council meeting to order. Could I have roll call, please?
Mr. Schrader.
Here.
Mrs. Schatzinger.
Here.
Mr. Hanson.
Here.
Mr. Gallops.
Here.
Mrs. Kane. Mr. Morrison.
Here.
Mr. Wirch.
Here.
Mr. Split.
Here. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you join with me in a word of prayer? Lord, we gather in this place from many walks of life and many life situations. We are grateful for the time and dedication given by these members of our community to do the work of the City Council. Bless this group of leaders and committed citizens, guiding them in discernment in all matters. We thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the broader work of our state and country with what we do at this very local level. Bless all the citizens of our city and all their good works. Continue to be with us as a community in the fight for the eradication of COVID-19. Keep our people safe from this infectious disease. Help our businesses remain strong during this time. May the fabric of our community remain resilient, compassionate, and cooperative. These and the silent prayers of our hearts we offer to you this evening. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
Moved by Ben, seconded by John. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Is there any public comment? And nope. All right. First up tonight then is a proclamation declaring Telecommunicators Week, April 11th through 17th, 2021. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that requires police, fire, emergency medical, or search and rescue services. And whereas professional telecommunicators are not visible as the men and women who arrive at the scene of emergencies, but provide a vital link to public safety services as part of the first responders team, with each telecommunicator exhibiting compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job. And whereas telecommunicators are critical to our community's emergency response and security services, dispatching law enforcement, emergency medical services, firefighters, and other emergency responders 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and medical responders is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens and visitors who call the City of Ripon Communications Center. And whereas professional public safety communicators are a vital link between citizens and victims and the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety emergency telecommunicators serve as the single most vital link for our first responders by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas the City of Ripon recognizes that we currently have and have had for many years telecommunicators that have been dedicated to this community, and that these telecommunicators have no doubt provided information, protected property, prevented injury and crime, and saved many lives while in the performance of their duties to the citizens of the City of Ripon. And whereas National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week begins April 11th and ends April 17th, 2021. Now, therefore, it is proclaimed by the City of Ripon Common Council the week of April 11th through 17th, 2021, to be Telecommunicators Week in the City of Ripon, Wisconsin, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep and have kept our community, citizens, and visitors safe. Is there a motion to approve this proclamation?
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been moved by Paige, seconded by Jolene. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving this proclamation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? As approved.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
If I could, real quick, just, it's been a difficult year for our communications officers, and through all of that, they have maintained professionalism, continued with the excellent service that they've provided to our community throughout that discussion. Historically, as the proclamation indicated, we've had a great staff of communications officers here, and that continues to this day. We've got 3 of them here today. You guys want to stand for me? Christina Suyak, Tina Block, and Cassandra Waller. They just represent our department, and the communications officers, Susan Straholski and Marley, who could not be here tonight, so, and Candy as well, so Candy Ferrari. So, again, on behalf of the department, the entire department and the community, we just want to say thank you to these women for the service that they provide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you sit, isn't it appropriate to get a picture with the proclamation in the mirror? I think that would be really special.
Girls, no?
Yeah, come on.
I didn't realize the dispatch position was so physical.
Yeah. They're kicking somebody.
I didn't know what you were talking about. I said, oh, Nick Bryce.
You weren't really late. You didn't really miss much.
I know.
Well, Bill.
He is inside.
I'll take it. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have something to add,
With,
Al?
with the proclamation, Mayor, I'd like to offer a motion of commendation to our current staff and everybody that has been involved in that capacity in our community over the years.
All right, is there a second?
I would
for his-
second that.
It has been moved and seconded moved by Al, seconded by Howard, a motion of
Commendation.
commendation. Thank you. Is there any discussion on this motion?
I
Hearing
think
none.
these ladies and everybody involved in this situation, they deserve nothing but the utmost respect from everybody in the community, as well as we have tried to show them on this council. And in the city with you, Mayor, I think we appreciated every single effort that the communications has put forth the effort for this community itself. What you guys do is selfless. It's not an easy job, and I, for one, appreciate you being there. And I think we all do as well, so.
Well stated.
Here, here.
All those in favor of Al's motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you. All right. Next item is accepting the informal reports from standing committees and staff. Is there a motion to approve as published?
So moved. Second.
Been moved by David, seconded by Al. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Next item is the consent calendar. There are 7 items on the consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve that as published?
Motion to approve. as published.
Second.
Moved by Ben, seconded by John. Any discussion on those? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right. Our first action item of the evening is the CDBG Administration and Environmental Review Services Agreement. Adam, do you want to start that one, discussion off?
Yeah, so in your packets, you would have found a copy of the letter of award for $552,373.65 for the CDBG Public Facilities Close Grant. That is obviously for the senior center, so that has been paid back and re-awarded back to the city. So what this service agreement does is it has MSA Professional Services manage that grant on behalf of the city moving forward. So there's still a lot that has to be done with that project, but there's reporting that starts almost immediately because we're awarded the funds and we've accepted the funds, so.
I would move to approve the agreement.
I'll second it.
It has been moved by Al, seconded by Ben. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the CDBG Administration and Environmental Review Services Agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Next up is a resolution writing off uncollectible ambulance bills. This current batch is valued at $22,888.85. It is for uncollectible ambulance bills, which the city has made every effort to collect.
How did we come up with this, that this was not able to be collected?
Just in terms of the details that are on the attachment, many of these are situations where we attempt to do tax intercept. We do repeated requests for payment. We process them completely through insurance carriers. Some of these obviously had no insurance. Some of these may in part have been Medicare. As indicated, ultimately, when it gets past 6 years, you have no legal right to proceed. The investing in some of these accounts, and you can look at the numbers of each individual account, are not cost-effective in many cases. It can cost between $150 and $200 of city money to invest in attempting to get a judgment, and obviously, that also means you have to find them, so that could be additional $50 to $100. So you can put $300 in an account that ultimately is uncollectible. So historically, Karen does a wonderful job of working these accounts, and at the end of the day, if we haven't had intercept, if we hadn't had any luck in locating these people in many cases, or having any success in deciding whether or not you're going to invest those additional funds because they're not local, you ultimately write off, and the statute of limitations requires you to write off. Some of the others, we have bankruptcy, we have patient deceased with no estate. If there's no estate to file a claim against, you have no right to recover, and many of these are individuals that are indigent and end up on services, and we transport everybody. And so many of these accounts end up for that reason. We got some bankruptcies. Obviously, as I've indicated, Karen does a very good job in staying top of these. We have sent some to collection agents. We have sued out some of the ones that we believe are local, and we can get a judgment. But in many of these cases, you don't have real estate, so the judgment becomes nothing more than a piece of paper. And again, you do a cost-benefit analysis and how much you want to invest. So at the end of the day, that total looks large, but it's a matter of the fact that we do a service for everyone. We do, when the call comes in, we don't say, can you pay? And so when you get these calls, you're going to get a percentage that are going to have to be written up. And so I think, again, I've been doing this quite a while, and Karen does a wonderful job of staying on top of these and getting every single dollar she could find.
Why is there $1,000 difference in it from the attachment A and the resolution?
Yeah, I would just recommend we pass what's on attachment A. I think there was one that was added but not left in the attachment, so I would just say amend that to the 21,000.
Good catch. Good catch.
21,867.
Thank you, Adam, and good catch, Dave.
It's because of the one that's coded as an A 1107, it didn't add into the sum from the Excel file I'm betting. Halfway down, it has the letter A in it,
Oh,
so it didn't code it as a number.
Ah,
Well, then let's not change the number.
I think that's an even better catch, Jim. I didn't catch that either. So, yeah, let's leave it at the 22, and if
Yeah,
we have to
let's
correct
leave
it,
it
we will.
That looks like the difference, in my opinion. Maybe.
Let's leave it at the higher number, and then we can always reduce it if we find that it doesn't match.
So just to clarify, the A is not code for something, it is a mistake,
a typo.
a typo,
Looks like it to me.
right?
Yeah.
Is that the affirmative?
Yes.
I want to add that, Mr. Wertz, it was nice that you provided that explanation of what we do. And also for those at home, you know, it seems like a lot of money that we're writing off. But again, these are, I think I counted 45 of them, only 8 of them are over $1,000. Many of them are small, and just because there's so many, it adds up.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve this?
So move.
Seconded. Ooh, whoa, whoa. Go ahead. All yours.
Motion by Al, second by Ben. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the resolution writing off uncollectible ambulance bills, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is approved. Our last action item is an ordinance repeal chapter 2.80, personal provision. Adam, do you want to give an overview of this one?
Yeah, so in reviewing the city's ordinances, just because I'm new here, I stumbled upon chapter 2.8, personnel provisions, brought it up to Lud. Basically, it's out of date. It is contradictory to current policy. So we have an employee handbook that has a lot of information in it that was also in here that we're not jiving together. So the recommendation of Lud was to repeal this ordinance. And then also in here, it says we will review the employee handbook, which is a good thing to do every few years. But basically, just some of the things, not to get too far in the weeds with it, but it had vacation pay, you know, health insurance contributions, contributions to retirement funds. All of those things were spelled out in an ordinance and a different level of contribution levels, different level of cost shares than we currently are doing in the employee handbook. So more or less, this just gets this out of the way and keeps us on the current path, so.
Thank you, Adam.
You can add.
Only would add that, obviously, as everybody is aware, when you have something codified, if it's there, it becomes an argument that one can utilize to say you have to treat everybody according to the ordinances of the city of Ripon. And clearly, Adam caught the fact that these are not consistent with the handbook policies that evolved over time. So the conflict could have been resolved by amending the ordinance, but you would be constantly in the mode of amending the ordinance. And obviously, City of Ripon, as an employer, is at will, and the specifics associated with creating a claim against the city is built upon documentation that is available. And the handbook should be the four corners of the agreement of an at-will employee in the state of Wisconsin. So the handbook becomes sort of, in quotations, the Bible. And to have it conflict in any way with an ordinance would put us in a difficult position. So repealing it was the safest option.
So essentially, the ordinance, even if it were accurate, as a redundancy of,
In many cases redundant and unfortunately, as Adam pointed out, in conflict.
yeah,
And
okay.
so we didn't want that out there in any way, shape, or form. So I give Adam credit to catch that.
Yeah.
Again, when we get caught up in the everyday business of running the city, we don't step back and read the ordinance against handbook policies, and it needs to be repealed.
Is there a motion to repeal Chapter 2.80?
Motion.
Make the motion. Page, is there a second? Second. Moved by Page, seconded by Dave. Any further discussion? Al?
So, without the ordinance, then, the employee handbook, the employee personnel policies are still in full effect,
Absolutely.
and they're just not codified with an ordinance. However, that does not diminish the authority and enforcement and policy as outlined by the employee personnel policies, correct?
Correct. And again, the concept of an ordinance, one generally sees that citywide. We're dealing with specific personnel issues within the organization that are addressed. But a very good point, Al.
Right.
Not for
Thank you.
anybody to misconstrue that we're pulling back on anything or taking anything away.
I just wanted clarification.
Yep, no,
on
very
that.
good
Thank you.
clarification.
Thank you, Lucky.
It's all there.
Any, Jolene?
Adam had pointed out that there is an agreement to review this annually. Is that anything that should be put in writing anywhere? Or just a common practice that we make sure it's done?
Yeah, so the employee handbook should be reviewed periodically. I mean, I think the one that's currently being used was last amended in 2014. So it is due for a review. So, and then as things change or as issues come up and we need to add things to it, we will obviously bring those up. But it should be kind of a reviewed and evolving document, and should not become stagnant, kind of like this ordinance that's been sitting out there probably for 20-some years. So, yeah, that's something that's on the list of things to do over the next few months, and we'll bring that forward, so.
Any further discussion?
Let me just highlight, and I think that was a good question. Your chief administrative officer is the city administrator, and so he or she is in charge of making sure that those tools and those control mechanisms are in place and that he or she is comfortable with them. So Adam is on top of that. That's why he read this, that's why he's looking at it, so.
Thank you.
He will bring forward any suggested changes that he wants the common council input into. He may tweak some things because that's his job.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of repealing Chapter 2.80, personnel provisions in city ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Project updates and staff reports. Adam, do you have anything?
You obviously got my letter in the packet. Main update, Vermont Street Parkway Terrace bidding is posted, so we are accepting bids, so those will be due April 29th. Another big thing that a lot of municipalities are talking about, and it's documented in the letter, is the American Rescue Plan allocation. So the city of Ripon has been allocated approximately $775,000 that we are still awaiting guidance on from the Department of Treasury to see how that can be spent. Some of the priorities that have been identified already in here hopefully can kind of be funded by that, but ultimately, we will come at a later date with information on that and prioritization of how that gets spent based on the guidance from the Department of Treasury. But that is a big deal. It's a lot of money. It is the first time in our country's history that every town, city, village, county is getting money without having to apply for it. And so everybody's kind of excited, but certainly we will prioritize that, talk with staff, meet, and come to the council with proposals on how that money gets spent. It's approximately 3-4 years you have to spend it. So we are in no rush to spend it. We have to prioritize it and pick projects that, will have a lasting impact in the community, and that obviously jive with any Department of Treasury guidance. Other than that, we have begun working on a project with the League of Wisconsin Municipalities and the Congress for New Urbanism, studying our zoning code for housing. It was a unique opportunity for the city of Ripon to be a case study community, and you can certainly reach out to me if you have any questions about that, but really it is looking at the missing middle housing in our community and across the state, and looking at how zoning codes either restrict or can promote housing development, and that certainly is something that in my first month here I have heard is an issue. So Sue and myself and other city staff will be working on that. Other than that, I've been meeting with a lot of people. That's all. If you have any questions, let me know.
All right. Chief, anything? No? No other department heads here, so just have a short comment for today. COVID-19 infections are on the rise again. We are not through the tough times yet. I beg everyone to continue to wash your hands, wear face coverings at all times when in public, and stay at home except for essential business. I strongly encourage everyone to get vaccinated as soon as possible. All people in Wisconsin age 16 and up are now eligible for the vaccine. You can check with your county health departments to find vaccination sites. And as always, be safe, stay healthy, and remember to be kind, considerate, and respectful to others. Any future agenda items or comments from council members? Jolene?
Today, Chief Wallner and I met with a committee member from the county because the county is currently seeking input on top health issues that we face in our county. And so by no means are we meant to represent our city. And so we wanted to provide the message out that we invite everyone here, everyone that's listening. There is a current community health assessment or survey, if you will, available on Fond du Lac County's website under the health department. The police department will be putting this up on their Facebook page, so our community can access this. And we are invited to fill this out until April 28th. And I think it's really important that we have a Ripon community voice for what we see as the top health issues facing our county and our community.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
And this is the website, but it's probably hard to see, I realized.
I do have, and maybe it's a question that can be answered right now, but concerns regarding school drop-off, specifically at Barlow Park. I know that there were changes made, was it middle of last year or the year before, regarding the loop in the park? And now I know that they've restructured the drop-off in front of the school. But as far as Newberry Street goes, are there any restrictions on using, because it's very fast and a lot of people going down making U-turns texting and driving, and there's a lot of kids that walk that way to cut through the back to get to school. So I just didn't know if there was anything.
Very fast as far as traffic is moving very fast
Yeah.
during that time?
Oh my gosh, it's the fastest dead-end block in America.
Oh, okay.
But yes, lots of cars, people going,
Oh.
you know, it's the I'm in a hurry drop off. But lots of cars down at the end making U-turns, and it's all little kids walking to school. So it just gets really, really busy, and I
Okay.
just didn't know.
Yeah, sir, that's the first time that I've heard speed complaint issues on that
Oh.
1,000 block of Newberry Street. We're up in the school zones every day, morning and afternoon, pretty much. But we certainly can make an effort there on that, in that block.
Okay,
As far as the changes that have occurred at Barlow Park Elementary, that's been a continual process. Back when we decided to make changes there with the Barlow Park Loop, what we were seeing here recently with the changes because of COVID, because of more people being picked up, or students being picked up, the traffic was actually backing out onto Matoman Street, Highway 44, 49, and there was upwards of 10 vehicles at a time that were stopped on Matoman Street, and they were bumper to bumper all the way to the back of the school. So compliment the school. We worked very closely with them just to try to change that a little bit and get those vehicles off from Matoman Street. We were very fortunate we didn't have a tragedy there during that time because of that intersection. But the school's been very good with working with us and redeveloping, and it's tough when you change things like that during the school year, but the parents have been very good about it, and it's a work in progress, so.
So there's no prohibition on them using Newberry, it's just safely use Newberry.
Correct, and as far as picking up, that's the proper place where they should, if, that's an alternative spot for people to go and pick up down on the end of that street,
Okay.
certainly.
okay,
Yep. And park down on the far end and then walk in, or however they
okay.
need
Yep,
to do
there've
that.
just been questions from other people on our block, just wondering, we observe all the traffic and just not knowing if that was a proper pickup, especially with them doing separate doors for each classroom this year because of COVID, the separate entrances.
Yeah, and if they have children within the school, certainly they can reach out to the principal there. Principal Sanderfoot
Yeah.
is very receptive on any questions in regards to the changes that have occurred there. But from the city's perspective, my perspective, that is an appropriate
Okay.
use of that roadway is for vehicles to go down there, park if they need to, and then go to the school to pick up.
Okay, great.
But it depends on what their policy is on
Okay.
that,
Thank you.
as an alternative to the Barlow Park Loop situation.
Thank you.
Okay?
Are the signs back uphill on the loop and
Yeah, they never came down, so
Okay,
that's still
still clear as to what?
restricted as
Okay.
far as
Thank you.
picking up activity there.
And I've been up there several mornings, and it's nice to watch the kids walk up that way through the park and not have to look over their shoulders for vehicles.
Thank you,
So
Howard.
the parents have adopted that pretty well.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else?
It occurs to me that, could I ask, Adam, if I send you this link, is this something that you could send out to our city officials? Would that be appropriate to ask?
Yeah, you can forward it to me, that's,
Thank you.
or I can look on the police department's Facebook page and
Yes.
copy it.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved by Ben, seconded by Paige. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.